Hi, and welcome to Eternal Love of Drama. I'm Linda, and this is our channel where two drama bingers discuss our very strong, uninformed opinions about Chinese dramas that we watch. We don't know anyone in the C-drama industry. We don't know any famous actors. We don't have Weibo, but we still enjoy watching and expressing our opinions, whether we have fully watched or dabbled or fast forwarded through, um, you know, 10 to 100% of various dramas. So we start each episode by giving an award to some character or drama. And what's this week's award?
So this week we're gonna give an award for the best crime solver in all of Chinese drama, or in all of ancient Chinese drama. And this is fun because we really like mysteries. So what people don't know about us is when we were growing up, we were addicted to Nancy Drew mysteries. And then we grew into the Veronica Mars. We like Agatha Christie, in particular, Poirot, right? Obviously, all of the Sherlocks. I even actually really enjoy crime fiction as a genre. The Brothers Karamazov, best novel ever written. So if you ever have like I don't know, like 18 hours to read it, you should do that.
If you have 18 hours to watch a 60 episode drama, you have 18 hours to read a book.
That's right. And there's also
I've done it or will do it.
Yes. There's also like you can watch the movie. It's 100% worth it. But what's really interesting is that all of these different detectives have a different style for how they solve crime. So, you know, Poirot was his little gray cells. Sherlock is a little eccentric, antisocial, but he's like very observant. There's a lot of women in particular, like Miss Marple, who solve crimes because people don't take them seriously, and they just notice things or see things because people don't notice or see them. And so, you know, when we started watching drama, you introduced me to Miss Truth, which is a detective story, which is my into it. And so I went on to my drama list and I like promptly looked for all of the detective ancient Chinese dramas, and saw a number of them. And, you know, essentially there are a number of different things that we're going to judge here. And this is a category we're going to take very seriously because of how much we like it. So the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to talk about whether the mysteries that these crime solvers solve is actually believable, right? Like, was it a throwaway? Was there secret information at the end? Or did they actually solve crime in a logical manner? And then we're going to talk a little bit about like their crime solving technique. Like, are they the hyper observant one that notices a speck of dust? Are they the forensic scientist that does a lot of experimentation to determine whether this particular kind of like dust, you know, could come from, you know, the southeast region? Are they logical? Like, do they reason things out? Are they like the Miss Marples that look at the hearts and the motivations? Are they like super Google with like, you know, the information bank that they draw from of historical facts from like 85 years ago? And more importantly, like, what does this all mean in the ancient Chinese context? Because there was obviously crime in China in ancient times, whether fake dynasty we're talking about. And so what does that look like? Or are we just reading in our modern day sort of detecting styles into ancient Chinese dramas? So what do you think? So, you know, we've obviously watched a number of different ones. I think strong contenders are everyone who's ever played a detective D or a version of Di Renjie, either in like the novel, in a movie or a drama.
Yunjie is a real person that existed in ancient China and is often portrayed, at least in drama land, as a Sherlock Holmes type detective that was smarter and more clever than everyone around him.
Yes. And there was obviously Miss Truth, who is a Tang Dynasty female forensic scientist, right? So she obviously was a little bit more, she was the forensic scientist, obviously, per her title. And then there was Ancient Detective. How would you describe his style?
Definitely like observation and then deduction. So strong powers of observation, noticing like the fine details of like not only is there this thing hanging here, but what it's made of and what the various like things that this particular material can do, and then to really like process like all of the pieces and put them together. So I think he's both like an observer and a deducer.
Mm-hmm. Yep. There were 3 sleuths of the Ming Dynasty, although I think the title of that specifically referred to one of the 3 super friends. And he was definitely the hyper observant type. And so he / almost Sherlock deductive type. And then there was Detective Samoyed. I don't know if I'm saying that correctly. But he was, well, okay, so what's interesting about him is he has super friends. So he had a forensic scientist friend, a super secret Google friend that knew all the information, and a hyper vigilant observer friend.
Yeah, I struggled to watch that one. I also didn't love Sleuth of Ming Dynasty just because there weren't enough women characters for me. But I would say if I were going to pick a winner for the best crime solver, I would pick Miss Truth because we all know how much I love Miss Truth. She was both very observant, but also scientific and methodical in her approach. And I think she also, unlike sort of the like Benedict Cumberbatch Sherlock type, had social skills. And I think that sometimes those sort of like quirky antisocial types like are bad at like the Miss Marple deduction, like understanding motivations and human desires and drives. So I think that she was the full package. And so I, it's hard to not give this award to Ancient Detective because Jianbuzi is such an awesome detective, but
spoiler alert,
I'm not going to tell you, he misses something really big. There's something very, very, very big that he just, yeah, sorry. Yes. But I will give a special mention to Maiden Holmes, which is the drama we're going to talk about today, because I also deeply appreciate her powers of observation and deduction.
Yeah, so I would kind of agree with you. Miss Truth was generally the most watchable detective, but also a true crime solver. So I appreciated that she was true to forensic technique, even in the Tang Dynasty context. Like blood splatter, she invented like fingerprinting, I guess, weird like X-ray, like, on pressure on bones. Like she had a reason for wanting to try all these different techniques and was experimental in doing them and use them to help her find out clues to see who it could be that was like perpetrating whatever crime she was solving. So she was a true like crime solver. And she was like actually a pleasure to watch. Like I had a lot of trouble with a lot of the Detective D ones because I just didn't enjoy watching them like as like people and as like character. And I don't know if it's because they didn't figure out how to round out like the character either with friends. Sherlock has like Watson as his sort of counterpoint, or if they just couldn't figure out how to make it work in the context.
Yeah, I mean, Chinese dramas tend to be like really long, like 30 plus episodes. And when you think about like the recent like BBC Benedict Cumberbatch Sherlock, it was like 90 minutes at a time and there were only like 4 of them, right? So like what would that have been like if you tried to make 60 episodes of it, right? Because this person is deep down like not someone that many people relate to or like or want to be friends with. And we've talked about before how like when a drama really sucks us in, like they're like they're your friends now, and like you're like, really, Detective D? Like,
Well, and it's also because something that you observed about the Samoyed ones, and Detective D also falls into this as well, is that each of the mini arcs of their stories has a certain way of being adjudicated at the end. So, you know, everyone has, and this is, I'm not trying to get all philosophical, right? This goes to like, what do we believe justice is for people, right? And like, so, you know, the Detective Samoyed ones get old because what I think that there's a very strong perspective here, which is that there's no such thing as ghosts, right? Because in every single one of the mysteries, like
I
someone,
mean, to be fair, I don't know how many you watched. I only watched like 6, and they were all the same plot. Like somebody dies, everyone thinks it's a ghost, and they go in and like prove it's not.
well, I didn't watch them all in a row. I watched less than 10 of the first season. And I did watch like maybe 5 in a row until I got to the point where I was like, okay, I already know it's not a ghost.
Yeah,
And
a lot of
then I randomly watched other ones. But I think that they were really trying to sell you a perspective on like life and what is justice. And I didn't really appreciate that. And I felt like Detective D also had suffered from that. Now he had a different worldview. He kind of felt like um, which I mean, maybe this is common for like the Junghu world, the martial world, where like if you kill someone, like it is like a given that you should just die, like by the hand of your relative, like that, and that's like the definition of justice. And I don't know if that's like
just a
right.
lot of killing. And so we're talking about the like 2017 um,
Yeah,
Detective D
Ellen,
series. There are many
there are
different,
many of them.
yeah.
And like the other problem that I had with the Detective D ones, and that I also struggled with the Sleuth of Ming Dynasty, was that it was too like there's a lot of this that's like the ultimate mystery is how to like preserve the like emperor, or like something, you know, bad with the like court rooting out evil, right? Because in I think in even in like Vigilante, there was like the evil one-eyed, I can't remember his name.
Yes,
Uh,
friend.
yes, yes. Who's also a real
Also a real
character.
person.
Yeah. So I think that like I don't like the ones where they get too stuck solving the mystery that is like who is trying to overthrow the emperor or something like that, because I just get bored with that very easily. So I would agree Miss Truth is the best crime solver, except I only liked the first like half of her crimes. Like the minute that they go to the capital city and they start solving crimes that are related to the secret of the like Tang dynasty and like the preservation of the emperor, like I start rolling my eyes because like she now has fallen into that same trap, which is why I tend to actually favor the ancient detective. But like I guess, you know,
Yeah.
she's a contender.
Yes, he's a great detective.
Yes, he is.
I believe deeply that if and when there is a season 2, he will solve the thing that he has missed.
Yes,
Um,
the thing that is about who he is as a person.
okay, so today we're going to talk about and give a review of Maiden Holmes, which is a 2020 drama that you can watch on Viki or on YouTube. It's just 32 episodes, and the quick synopsis is that it's a story of a woman named Su Ci, who her whole family and tribe has been massacred, and she disguises herself as a man, not super convincingly, heads to the capital to investigate who was behind. So it was a falsely accused, probably of rebellion, family massacre. And in her journey to finding the truth, she meets someone named Pei Zhao, who's got a secret identity as Qi Wang, who's a prince. And he has been betrayed by some evil forces in the government and has had his powers. He used to be a military general, and he had all his powers taken away. And so they work together and solve a whole bunch of mysteries, and ultimately like the big mystery of who is leading the conspiracy in the court and who is behind sort of his taking away of power. So I think that this is a drama that I really, really liked. And I think that there are some really unique things about this drama. But first I will say, this is not an ancient detective. It is not Nirvana in Fire. It is not The Untamed. This is a light drama. This is like an idol drama. It has pretty people. They are
making out all the time.
Like, it's not like a serious, like you will feel it in your soul drama, but it is very, very enjoyable to watch. And I think that a couple of things that I found really unique about this drama are that as like a romantic drama, they have like minimal instances of people throwing these like ridiculous obstacles in their path. And you get to see them work together as a team for most of these mysteries. Like, they go through this thing supporting each other instead of fighting each other. And then you get to like have
love in between.
Instead of nobody stabs anybody, nobody poisons anybody. So instead of that, they actually like coordinate about like, these are my plans. And there are some miscommunications, but it's not like they could like text each other and, hey, I just found out this thing. And so there are some miscommunications, but for the most part, they are working together, and you get to see like their relationship grow as they work together, and you get to see that they're a good team. What did you think?
I liked it probably less than you because, you know, I watched it less seriously than you. Let's see, I did watch it to the end, I think, and I did watch most of it. So I'll just caveat my review by saying that I probably didn't watch as much of it as you did. I did think it was a good, light drama. It's not anything that you could get emotionally invested in because, I mean, it was just fun, and it was, I think, the good thing about the drama is that it didn't pretend it was anything more than what it was. It didn't try to give you these like deep philosophical like musings or anything like that. It was just a bunch of friends, and this is what I think I liked about it, that, to your point, work together, not just the main couple, like the four of them, the super friends. They all talked to each other and they all supported each other outside of the couple pairings, right? So there's like the four of them plus the fifth guy, right? I think he's part of the super friends. I would consider him one of the super friends because he's super cute, right? And, you know, they all helped each other and they just did all their things together, and it was fun. And I think that's what it was meant to be, fun. They did drag out every single drama romantic trope like very quickly and constantly throughout. Like, how many times like twirling and like accidentally kissing and weird touches and like falling into your,
everybody fell off a cliff.
Okay, but the water scene happens a lot in your movie.
There is a having to partially be topless in order to put medicine scene. Although I will say, as one of the things that I don't like about this, I thought it, like, you know, the acting was, I have no complaints about the acting, but that guy who was supposed to be a war hero had no muscles and should maybe keep his shirt on.
I mean, you know, but he got a
thing. He's just not muscular. It's not what I think of when, you know, because in this time period, war means riding horses, running, and, you know, using
yes,
not operating a drone. So muscles. Think about it.
Plus, like, there was Kevlar, so you actually wore like, anyway.
Yeah, but I will say that I wanted to my favorite thing about this drama is that, like, you know, there are a lot of awards that I would give this drama.
Okay.
Um, the Real Men Are Feminists Award,
Okay.
as well as the Best Romantic Gesture Award, because this guy who's the prince, who has like all the makings of being a toxic masculinity, let me like scheme behind your back and make arrangements for you, like never does that. And like there's a point where she is trying to take this exam to advance her career, and he goes around, and instead of like, he's the prince, right, he's the brother of the emperor, so he can pull strings and make sure she passes the exam or whatever. But instead of doing that, he launches this whole like effort. He goes and he gets the people that tell stories in the taverns in the town to all start telling stories of women heroes. So that like he's like influencing that's his like outside strategy, like influencing the public perception of women serving the country. And then he goes and he like digs up all this research about women who have attended like the Imperial College before, and he goes and he like convinces the leader of the Imperial College that they should allow women. So it's like he's not just like, I'm going to pull strings to let this person, because I am in love with her, do what she wants to do. He's like, oh, actually she's a woman and she's super capable, and so I'm gonna like go ahead and reason that other women might also be smart and capable. And so he's trying to like pave the path, for not just her. There's even like a scene that I really like where he's talking to the second male lead, and he's like, actually, if you look at her and look at like there are lots of instances where women are stronger than men. So he has like these little like, I mean, obviously this is very contrived and they are like pandering to viewers like me. But it's delightful. They're not like, I don't think they're trying to make a serious political statement. It's just like, they want me to enjoy watching this. And so I did.
I thought that was clever, his strategy, his outside inside strategy. And I'm not, it's not like a heavy drama, so I won't get into like super a lot of the details about like where I thought it was like weak and ridiculous. I did think
There were many parts that were
there were
ridiculous.
many parts, but I will say that she is a very capable crime solver. Like I actually feel like she's not Miss Truth, and she's not like ancient detective, but she does actually have skills. And I liked at the end that she's training the other detectives in like how to tell the direction of like a cut based on cutting meat. I mean, that's very Sherlock, right? Like he would experiment and like take note of like what the different things like and hack them up. So she was methodical and she was logical. And she didn't, I think I appreciated that she didn't become like silly and boy crazy after she realized that she liked him. Because I think there are a lot of women in Chinese drama that start off, like the first time you meet them, they're very like clever and they're sassy. But then as soon as they fall in love, they become like wimpy and like whiny, and you just are like, what happened to you? Like you were like not what you promised. But she was actually consistently who she was, even towards the end, where she was just as like bold as she was in the first episode. So I appreciated that.
In the very ending, I wished that they could have texted each other because I felt like she could have saved some energy.
Oh yeah, and she wouldn't have gotten hurt.
Mm-hmm. If he
Mhm.
had just like been able to text her the information that he had found out.
And then if she would have texted him back, like with,
Hey, I'm doing this thing. Oh wait, but I found out this.
yeah.
It was great, you guys. Um, but you know, I think that like, I just think it's really nice that they like, instead of working against each other, they are working together, and it like makes you feel good. Like, I don't know why romantic dramas always have to like have all this contrived conflict between the characters to show that they really care about each other. Like, you can just show that they work really well together. They make a great team, and together they're better than they were individually.
Mhm.
which is sort of what they were doing here that I really appreciated.
So let me say something about the second couple. So I can't remember his name, but the guy, he reminded me of like the friend in Ancient Detective. Like I feel like there were a lot of things that they made him just like Zhao Huan. What is different is like the girl that he's with, right? So that whole story arc where she falls in love with Suza when she thinks that Suza is a man, even though like the worst like woman dressed like a man.
The worst though? I don't know.
I mean, very close,
Pretty
right?
bad.
It's the hair. The hair is like, bun, I'm a man.
I'm
a
a man now.
Right. Man, and then like woman, right? Like I don't know. It's like a little stupid.
Wow, that transformation was amazing. I was totally fooled. Are you my sister or my brother?
So I thought that whole like I'm in love with a man that turned into a woman and I'm gonna like follow her around thing was like boo, right? Because that was when she became a little silly and stupid. Because when you first meet her, she is like spunky, right? Like she is like hilariously spunky. And then it's just when
young and she has taken on this task of like I'm just gonna like replace this person who's like set to die so that I can like uncover this whole scheme and take it apart, and like she just like did it on her own, and she's like brave and smart, and
so I'm glad she goes back to that at the end. Like that middle part where she was in love with Suza was like not enjoyable to watch, but then so I will say that. So that was not enjoyable to watch, and I also I don't enjoy like machinations in the like imperial court, and like especially like bad ones, right? Like we discuss this often. I don't know why it is that for someone who dislikes this kind of palace drama, I really liked Nirvana and Fire so much. I was willing to watch that. I'm not willing to watch like badly done versions, and so I didn't watch most of that. It was like forwarded through.
And it doesn't take up too much space in this. And maybe I think that because I skipped most of it, but I don't think it's like a huge, like it is like the background of like why a lot of things are happening, but you don't actually have to watch it. It's simple enough that you get there's like a bad person that's scheming against him, and that's all you really need to know. You don't actually need to watch.
So maybe that's what it is. The bad person is very two-dimensional. Most of these characters are not like very well rounded anyway, but like he is particularly two-dimensional, and he almost says the same thing in every scene he's in. And so he reminds me of some of the other very two-dimensional villains that occur like frequently throughout Chinese drama. You almost just need to watch the one scene with him in it the first time and then like assume that it repeats every single time.
Although I did find his like last scene, which I don't know if you watched, to be hilariously cheesy, like just ridiculous.
Is this the one where he dies? Oh. Whoops.
This is not integral to the plot, you guys. It is okay. I don't know if he dies.
Whoops. I'm sorry.
I mean, but like obviously, come on, like they're the good people, they're gonna win in the end. So like how they win is not super important because the whole point is for them to be together. It's for the couple to be together. Like I thought it was a very cute drama, and if you're looking for something light to watch, I recommend it. I don't know that I would watch it again, but it was very enjoyable, and I feel like sometimes you need that like rebound thing to watch that's just sweet and delightful after watching something that has like taken a piece of your soul. So
I would agree with that. That was light and enjoyable. I enjoyed the bits of it that I watched. I don't know that I would like start from the beginning in episode 1 and watch to the end again, or any piece of it. But I think that, I would recommend it to people if they just want some like something on. And it's generally pretty accessible. So even if you're just reading the subtitles, other than some comical things like paranormal. Like, I think you can generally understand the plot and the characters. There's not a lot of nuance that you would miss just by reading it.
Yeah. Um, yeah, that's it. That's all we got. Stay tuned. Watch our channel. Look out. Follow us on Twitter. We have some special content coming up for Halloween and Election Day. So we will be doing special episodes for those. You can follow us on Twitter at Love of Drama, or subscribe to our channel. Thanks for watching.